Good evening. Make sure took out Dawkins Richards. How are you? Let's go to be here. My fellow citizens, I've come this evening to respond to Senator Edwin Melvin Snowe, who today told the Liberian people that as Director General, yes, I am calling for his recall, and that's not something he takes kindly to. As a matter of fact, he feels that his life is being threatened. His family life has been threatened. That his mother is 90 years old and that she suffers from high blood pressure and that her pressure has gone up and has been high ever since. He claims that the government of Liberia has accused him of treason. I don't know how he separates himself from being a part of the government, serving in the capacity of senator from my county. I don't want to go into the lies because I believe it's a distraction. He wants to pivot from the issue under discussion and drive our attention to a threat against his life and him being accused of treason, or treason, if you want to call it better still, the pronunciation. No. In his attempt to drive the narrative towards allegation of treason and a threat against his life, Senator Snowe again repeats this delvish and intentional statement once again today. Not different time. I don't know who's advising this brother, but you are not denying the statement. In politics, we say you are doubling down on your statement, meaning you meant to say it, you are intentional about it, and you are executing it. If there's no sound, then check your stuff. Now, I'm not going to say it for you to come and argue with me. You know me, I can turn the camera around. You hear it from his own mouth today again. He said today, I said that I pray for him to fail. It was that statement that got him in trouble. If you fail for the president to fail, or if you pray for the president to fail, if the president fails, the country fails. And if the country fails, the people suffers. And everyone has told him that statement was not correct. No politician, including myself, can say that they've never ever had a gaffe, we call it in politics. Samuel Tuer said he took 27 million Liberians out of poverty when we only have 5.2. Nathaniel McGill said he entered LU in 2005 and graduated in 2001. And the list can go on. As politicians, we talk a lot. And sometimes our voices are amplified before our brains can calculate. And that is a fact. Even machines will make mistakes. What about us humans? The right truth is, whenever you make an error, you must acknowledge the error and fix it. But you didn't. For those of you who are blind loyalists, I don't talk behind people. This is Senator Snowe speaking today. Today, not yesterday. So let's do this. That's Senator Snowe right there. Before I go off on him and go off on fire, you see the Bomi flag right behind him. Let's hear it from the horse's own mouth so you know why he mentioned me today and why I'm upset. Play it. You see the cursor right here? We're going to press play, right? Boom.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means
I'm going to start right there. Then I said, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails. This is a politician. This is supposed to be the senator of my county. This is supposed to be somebody who's representing me out there at ECOWAS, praying for a sitting president to fail. Let's hear him today. Not on Spoon, no. His press conference today. He's admitting what he said. Hear him again.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he only have one term.
That's the man right there. That's the man right there. Are you supposed to be praying for the president to fail? Is that your place? When we go to court, we pray the court to take a decision. Even before a king, we pray your majesty to do this. A prayer for something is a solemnization for a moral outcome, whether from a religious standpoint or a legal standpoint. Doesn't matter. So if you are praying for a president to fail, meaning you're hoping that your prayer will be answered, then what are you doing at ECOWAS? Because there, you don't have to pray. You have to act. And you must take action. Or you must speak for. If you are praying for the president to fail, then you are acting in a way for him to fail in your position as a representative of the Liberian people. You went to ECOWAS to represent us. You are supposed to speak for us. You are supposed to lobby on our behalf. You are supposed to be there for us. Represent our interests. And you are praying that our country fails, that our president fails. You said it on the Spoon Network, and today you double down on it, to which none of your supporters now can argue as to what you said. There can be no argument. Because now, you yourself is saying, this is what I said. Let's go back to it. We'll bring the tape back. This is today. Play.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he only have one term, then we'll move from power.
You see it? So now, what is going to be your argument? You little supporters of no good. What is going to be your argument? The argument now is close. It's close. Whether he said it and he said it, there can be no argument as to the truth now. Because he doubled down on what he said. And he said it today. I said, if he fails, I pray that he fail. Then he will be a one-term president, and then we will remove him. So, you want him to fail. You are praying that he fails. What then, if you are praying for him to fail, what then are you doing at ECOWAS? J.U. Snowe, we were in Bomi together. You came from Mano River. And let me say, I'm ashamed that you are my senator. But yes, I call for you to be recalled, as you mentioned in your press statement today, that the DG is now calling for me to be recalled. That is exactly why I was calling for you to be recalled, because of the statement you made on Snowe. Now, I'm going to go a step further. I'm not calling for you to be recalled. I am writing the president to protect the interests of the Liberian people by recalling you immediately. Because today, you doubled down on your statement by saying, this is what I said. But you did not apologize. You did not show remorse. Instead, you said, if the government or public feels that the statement, I'm quoting you, quote, if the government or the public feels that that statement is against the interests of Liberia, then we can sit down and talk. Mr. Senator, there is nothing to talk about. We don't sit down to discuss a statement intentionally made by you calling for our country to fail. We do not compromise or discuss that sort of statement. That level of ignorance will not suffice in an intellectual setting. That you pray for the president to fail, by extension, the country. And we should sit down and have a conversation with you about your statement calling for the failure of our state. What's the leverage for us? What do we go to that discussion with? That Mr. Senator, please pray again that our country does not fail. That Mr. Senator, we are sorry if we offended you. Please pray that our country does not fail. And like I argue, that if you are praying for the president to fail, and by extension the government, then what are you doing against our interests at ECOWAS? And that is what prompted me to call for your recall, thinking that by today you will come back, apologize, and say, I misspoke. Instead, you doubled down on your statement, which means I have no choice but to write the president and ask him to recall you from ECOWAS. Because if you are praying for us to fail, then what do you think you are doing at ECOWAS? If you are praying for us to fail, what are you doing at ECOWAS? Is my question. Sorry guys, you know they got some people sometimes. I always tell people I always have this one extra. You can see me there on the screen. As soon as you start insulting, I just block you. So again, J.U. Snowe, I'm from Bomi, he's from Bomi. When he made that statement, I said to somebody, yes, we will call him out. Yes, everybody will get mad. But again, he's a politician. He'll come back and apologize to the nation and say that he misspoke. He was carried away by his emotion. And that all is politics. But for him to come back today and say, I said, and let me play it, because I want everybody to get it. Let's go back. This is the press conference today. And Edwin Snowe admitting what he said and refusing to apologize.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term, then we'll move him from power.
Okay, play it again.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term.
I'm going to play it again.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term. Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term, then we'll move him from power.
When that statement came out, Senator Snowe and his followers denied. He didn't mean that. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't mean that. Now, today he's come back. And he said, then I said, and he repeated exactly what he said. I pray that he fails. Why are you praying for a president to fail? Knowing that when the president fails, the country fails. But your reason is clear. So that you can come back and remove him from power. So, if the end goal is to remove him from power, and you are praying that he fails, what happens if he doesn't fail? That is the fear that you have that caused you today to say to the Senate that you are being accused of treason. Let's hear the reason why you're praying that he fails. Now let's hear it again from your own mouth. I don't joke and I don't like this say. Give your reason why you pray that he fails.
Then I further said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term, then we'll move him from power.
Okay.
He'll have one term.
Then we will move them from power.
Said, well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term, then we'll move him from power.
You hear?
Have one term.
He said they will have one term, then we move them from power.
Well, if he doesn't do well, I pray he fails, then it means he will only have one term, then we'll move him from power.
Okay, so you see, what's the reason? The reason is, then we move them from power. They will have one term. He's speaking, yes, in the democratic context, that then he will have one term and we will remove them from power. He's speaking in the democratic context. However, what if he doesn't fail? Because you are praying for him to fail, and by extension, for the country to fail. Why would you want your own country to fail? But what if your country does not fail? and the end game is to remove him from power, what other means do you have or option left to remove him from power other than to overthrow him? Excuse me? Excuse me? If you are praying that he fails, so that he becomes a one-term president, so that, quote, you can remove him from power, I beg the question and lay the claim, what if he doesn't fail? What option do you have left to remove him from power? Because then the democratic process would not be an option, the fact that he succeeds. Now you went to the Senate today, say they are accusing you of treason, you want to overthrow the government. Your statement did not say, then we can have an election in which we beat him. You said, I pray that he fails and he becomes a one-term president so that we can, quote, remove him from power. But what if he does not fail? The option you have will not be the democratic process because his successes will allow him to get re-elected. And since the word you use is remove, then you have to use other options, which of course will be undemocratic. But unlike Senator Snowe, who does not want us to dwell on the issue, instead he wants us to discuss treason and threat to his life and his 90-year-old mother blood pressure, I want to stick with the statement. You said it on Spoon, you repeated it again today, that you are praying that he fails. Well, if you are praying in Liberia that the president fails, then what are you asking for from ECOWAS? Ask our representative. Hello? If in Liberia you are praying that this president fails, and by extension the Liberian people fails, then what are you praying for at ECOWAS? Or what are you asking for at ECOWAS? Or what are you doing at ECOWAS? Because you cannot be praying for the president to fail and be defending him or helping him at ECOWAS to succeed. That quasi-thinking, that is reversed intellectualism. Hello? Members of the intelligentsia, I put it to you. If he is praying for the president to fail, do you think he's ably representing the interests of the president and the Liberian people at ECOWAS? That would be foul thinking. That would be beyond the comprehension of any rational being. That in your country you are praying for failure, but on the outside you are representing the interests of the country for success. Is somebody listening to me? You cannot be praying for the failure of the country and representing the country's interests for success. I'm calling on the government of Liberia to recall Senator Snowe immediately. The fact that he doubled down on his statement answers the question of his intention. His refusal to even apologize answers the question as to his sincerity, or his statement on the floor that I will never wish evil for my country. Today was an opportunity for Senator Snowe to lay this to rest, but he doubled down on it. And he intentionally stated what he said and gave the reason for why he said it. If your only intent is to remove the president and the democratic space will not be afforded you, what other options are you prepared to use? Because this is not Charles Taylor's time. This is Joseph Boakar's time. Anyone who has followed me for years will know that I made the same statement to you. That this is not Charles Taylor's time. This is George Weah's time. I made that statement to you at Zone 3 in Congo Town. You ran to your buddy. You know what I mean when I say buddy. And all they could do was to send me to jail for 48 hours and make me pay a fine of 5,000 LD. And then, when the Liberian people celebrated me and I took you guys to court, I was called to the executive mansion and told that I am told that you will win the case. So we call you here to beg your pardon. This is our government. Let it go. They got to understand that all of you craftsmen had gang up against me. But who Jah bless, no man curse. So, if you are praying for him to fail, it means that he's already passing. Because in order for you to pray for somebody to fail, they must be passing or doing good. You do not pray for a failure to fail. A failure does not fail. You pray for a good student to fail, not a failure. It means you recognize that since President Boakar took over, there has been no rice shortage or the increase in the price of rice. So you know he's passing. There has been no shortage of water, and the sewage systems in the country is being steadily, slowly brought back to life. You know he's passing. Those are the bread and butter issues. You see me start with rice, I go to water. Since President Boakar took over, the heat that were killing people, LEC, poor money captain, tried his best, he did good. But you're the same buddies, that's how I call you, was messing around. You hear people complaining about LEC, the whole dry season, and now they really see the season and come, you will even hear again. Since President Boakar took over, you ever heard somebody say they go into the southeast, they slept on the road 4 days, 2 weeks? It means he's passing. Since President Boakar took over, you ever heard about the shortage of gasoline in this country? It means he's passing. Since President Boakar took over, the prices of petroleum products, have they gone up or they came down? They came down bigly, Donald Trump says. It means he's passing. Since President Boakar took over, you ever heard civil servants murmuring about their salaries? It means he's passing. Since President Boakar took over, you ever heard people say they went to the bank and could not get their money out of the bank? Their own money, they could not get it out of the bank. There was shortage of Liberian dollars. You ever heard it? It means he's passing. And if the roads are clear, from here to Lofa, from here to Grand Jida River G, all over the place, nobody's sticking in the mud, it means farm to market products are coming to the capital like nobody business. You ever heard us complaining about pepper, pirabo, ketele, penesi for the fufu, or ketele beta ball and soda for the toboggy? Or you ever heard us say that you, Snowe, who producing palm oil, along with Amara Kone and others, you ever heard a shortage of palm oil or food? It means he's passing. Since President Bouaga took over, the dirty, sloppy, stinking ministries that you and your body buddies left behind. You ever went to finance ministry and saw the same pink color on it, or a dirty, or not angafua? It means he passing. You ever went to Lens and Mine and recognized the building, or went into the offices and said that Georgia Lens and Mine here? It means he's passing. You ever went to the Ministry of Information and saw it looking the way it looked? That lead the ministries then. Even the ministerial complex that Ellen left for you and your body buddies, is it looking the same? It means he's passing. Inner city road connectivity, or even in front of Spoon Network, don't you see the whole capital being patched up? It means he's passing. So, why would you want him to fail? Since you said cut down the supply, you hear people running around for drugs? If you are concerned about the BP or blood pressure of your 90-year-old mother, what will happen if the president fails? Will she be able to get the kind of care and treatment that she deserves if the president fails? If the president fails, the country fails. If the country fails, the people suffer. And if your only interest is to remove them from power so that you can take over, Senator Snowe, you've made the most egregious mistake against us as people. Today you admitted that you and Jerry Lemmick Pia are of the same tribe. But you are the senator for the Gola and the Dane people. We are far from Grand Bassa County. We are on the other end of the country, and you all come from the other side of the country. Electing you should not be a curse to us, the people of Bomi County. It should not be a curse. And when we took over at LBS, you know I don't need to tell you. But you said to me, you said, Eugene, go and do your thing. I think you are overqualified for that place. And you think I'm going to fight to bring you down? I think it should be reciprocal. But when you make a mistake as a politician, don't double down on it. Saying, quote, if the government or the public, oh, so today you call us public, not the people. If the government or the public, quote, feels that that statement is against their interests, unquote, or quote, then we can sit back and talk about it, unquote. Is it what we feel, or it is what you said? Feeling has to do with emotions. And you can say, we feel hurt that you made that statement. We feel bad that you made that statement. But no, we're not feeling bad that you made the statement. We're feeling bad because of the consequences of your statement. So we look up to you and say, let's see whether it was intentional. And you prove today that your statement was intentional. There is nothing to talk about. When the president comes from ECOWAS, I will have on his desk a letter asking him to recall you. And the only reason will be simple. If you are praying for him to fail, and by extension the Liberian people to fail, there is no way you can be at ECOWAS fighting for us to succeed. That is beyond the rational thinking or comprehensive ability of any well-intentioned Liberian. You cannot be praying for us to fail at home and then working for us to succeed at ECOWAS. Those are unlike poles. They are unlike poles politically. Let me qualify. Before you say unlike poles, like magnet, they will stick. This one cannot stick. It cannot stick. Okay? And so, you cannot liken them to each other or equate them to each other. You cannot rationalize them. You cannot logically conclude that they will somehow be parallel and somehow have a cohesive ending. That's a lie. You cannot be praying for the nation to fail and at the same time be working for them to succeed. It is on this basis that I am calling on the president to recall you. And since you came and doubled down on it today to say, yes, I meant what I said, then I have to reduce it to writing so that posterity will judge me tomorrow. That I, Eugene Fagon, said, you cannot be praying for the president and government to fail while at the same time working at ECOWAS for them to succeed. It is quack thinking. And I call on every Liberian to call for a recall immediately. That is why in my podcast on my farm on Sunday, I said Liberians should be wary because it's too soon for people to be fighting for 2029. And Senator Snowe, let me be honest with you as a brother. That is the same nonsense that was done in the Weah-led administration, if you remember, that led to his downfall. Because those of you he brought in his inner circle started fighting for 2029 instead of fighting to deliver. You were there. Kofa was there. Eugene Angbe there. Everybody there. But the question was, which one of us would be qualified for 2029? Chua wants to be. Samuel 12 wants to be. They accused Nathaniel of McGill. You advertise yourself and announce yourself. There were so many that wanted 2029. That nonsense will not work with President Bouaka, the elderly statesman with vast experience. He made it clear that anybody want 2029, graciously resign and go start. So, those of you who know Senator Snowe, tell him to resign from ECOWAS now. That I am calling for his resignation, that it is better that he resigns now than to face the recall. ECOWAS is going through a difficult time. And Article 2, the second paragraph is clear. No treaty, no decree no agreement, no contract, no whatsoever, found to be inconsistent with the Constitution, to the extent of the inconsistency, such will be deemed void. I want to warn Senator Snowe, resign and avoid the recall. Because you did not apologize, instead, you doubled down. And those of you who say, Eugene Fakoma, I pray you fail at LBS. I am that student that don't wait for final exam to study. That even if I fail the final exam, when you add my grades and divide by whatever number of quizzes, including the test and final exam, I will still score 90. Go and check. The success story at LBS can only be written in the history books. There is no room for failure now. We are on an irreversible path to the development of the state-run broadcasting system. Let me warn everyone listening to me. Do not never, ever refer to LBS as state-owned. The state helps with 60%. The other 40% we have to source on our own. We are semi-autonomous. We are state-run, not state-owned. I want to be clear with that today. To those of you running around. Oh, the country hard. We already know you. We know you. That's why the other woman selling her Bilabo say, the country not have for me. So we are time I was selling Bilabo. And today, I'm even selling more now. The country have for the people who were on payroll, but they were not working. Now they get that money the country have. The country have for the girlfriend they were buying Brazilian hair for and building houses for. That money not coming again. The country have for them. The country have for the drug dealers. You think $100 million that joke? You think that joke? The country have for them. The country have for the criminals who were milking the system. The country have for them now. It's no longer available. I gave you a typical example. And hear me, and hear me well, Liberians. When Mawani Dix was given $11 million cash to subsidize rice to bring into the country, and the $11 million evaporated in thin air, and there was a shortage that brought that $11 million case to light. Since Joseph Boakai took over, he has not given a dime, before I say one peso or penny. We've not been short of rice, and the price has not gone up one time. Where do you think the $11 million ended up? Simple thinking. They were not guessing. $11 million was given to subsidize the importation of rice. We never got the rice. We never saw it. And the money was never recovered. I'm challenging any member of the old government to come forward. I double dare them to say that lie. So $11 million flush us out. You think the country will be hard? No. All you needed to do was to say, I'll say you get 400. Cha 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 cha. CDC cha cha. That particular 600. Muya, Muya, Muya. See, Muya. That battle cry, that 800. All you needed to do to earn 400 was to sing. This is the party we wanted to be. This is the party I wanted to join. Hey, I want to be a sedition. Hey, I want to be a sedition. Hey, I want to be a sedition. This is the party I wanted to join. 400. $11 million was flying around. $100 million in drugs was flying around. 25 million for mop-up was flying around. $10 million for, don't get me started. Today, the monies that were flying around is been used to develop the country in ways that's never been seen before. Never. And everyone is shocked. Look at LBS. Who gave me money now? The same day by money they can bring here for day by advertisement. That the same thing I'm using here. But the money they were named, then I can't talk about it. We developed a place. They said they left me with 3 million LD. Where the people? Where the people? Let me put the paper here now. After all the development, all the car, look at home, circle it. Where's the something? Bring it right here. Sometimes you talk, you don't need to talk, you need to show facts. So what you want to say? US dollars, Liberian dollars, grand total, USD, LRD. Show facts to the Liberian people. Enough is enough with this nonsense. That's why I warn. Okay? LRD, USD. Put it up. Highlight the date. Put it up and show to them. This is the 23rd of May. 23rd of May. This is the sheet. Over here, you can see clearly LRD, grand total, USD, grand total, LRD. Get down to the grand total. When the other mafia were talking, say, oh, we left 3 million LD in the account with all of the development. As I speak, this is what is there now. With all the development and everything, this is $15 million, $633,316.45. $15.5 million is there in that account. You can go scoop it with your hand. With everything we've done, this is 79,944 still resting there. You think I'm going to go steal government money or steal JMB money? I want money, I go back for it. My friends will give it to me. Okay? I'll go and back for it. But we don't owe anybody jack. We either pay cash. I've told my team, we pay for it or we don't take it. Hear me and hear me well. We either can afford it or we can't. We must not put Mama Liberia in further debt. We must learn to do without or use the resources for the purpose intended. Huh? We like 3 million LD. Can you see in the play that 3 million LD place? But I'll pay 3 million. You may be very, I'll pay it the second time. You may be very, I'll pay it the third time. 3 times 3 would be 9. You may be thou pay it the fourth time. 3 times 4 would be 12 million. You may be thou pay the fifth time. I'll stay run this place. We need to love our country. We need to believe in our country. And that is why I'm angry with Senator Snowe. to wish that we fail as a nation and come back today and double down on it. What are you thinking? When we fail as a country, what happens to our little ones? You're crying for your 90-year-old mother, but there is somebody crying for her 2-month-old baby. And you're wishing that the nation fails. And you gave a reason. But some of us know your reason. It's bigger than removal of power. You want to be protected. Remember, it was $1.5 billion to repair the road that was damaged by Western Cluster. Don't forget, you know that. The Western Cluster deal, you are on tape saying how much and how you went to South Africa and everything. We know a lot. But we must move ahead. We must rescue this country. Folks, last night I got the gift of my life from the president. I call it the gift of my life. I got it from the president. Most of you know Think Liberia, Love Liberia, and what? Build Liberia. You thought you heard it in 2023. But in 2015 was the first time the old man sold that campaign slogan to the Liberian people. And you know what? The Christmas cards he sent out. In the Christmas card, tomorrow, after they laminate it with the signature, I'll show it to the country. I will donate it to the National Museum. Why? Because everyone thinks that that slogan came in 2023. Lie. It came in a Christmas card sent to everybody when he was vice president. So I asked him to do me a favor last night. I said, this is the original copy of the Christmas card. Can I have it? He said, I have a photocopy here. I said, no, I want the original copy. He looked at me and said, yes, you can have it. Apparently in his mind, he said, because you sold this idea. Then I said, can you autograph it and sign it? And he did. And he signed it. And he gave it to me. I didn't even want to know who was sleeping, who was not sleeping, who was eating, who wasn't eating. I went running just in case he had to change his mind. And the only reason why I ran was to be able to laminate it and put it in a museum, in the National Museum, with a narrative that Think Liberia, Love Liberia, Build Liberia did not happen in 2023. Instead, it was 2015 that he coined those slogans, putting them together in a Christmas card delivered to people. Most of them threw it away. Today, let's say 2015 to 2023, 8 years after that, he came back with the same slogan that he had given in a Christmas gift card to people and won the elections and became president. That Christmas card had on a vice president. The next Christmas card, a year after he became president, this coming Christmas, I intend to take it to him and ask him to do the new Christmas card with president. And then I will take that one that God spares my life, and it will be placed in the museum for people to have. We must build our country. We must love our country. No more. Never ever will anyone tell us. Most of our friends that are in the diaspora, and in particular the United States, while we bought a Lexus bulletproof Jeep, that's not the president. The national security makes that determination. Today I see on social media they're talking about plane. We the one will always know that Robert Skiski, Tete Joe, foolish country will develop. We're not listening to anybody anymore. We'll do what is good for our country and our people. Recently, $500 billion worth Air Force One was gifted to the President of the United States. The Pentagon confirmed $500 billion Air Force One. The greatest country in the world, the democracy, the tune of democracy, the fountain of democracy, they accepted it. But if somebody said they would give us a jet worth $50 million now, you will see the criminal passport size picture political commentator sitting on his platform and talking tabata like we are the worst people in the world. Let me repeat that statement so you can get it and get it live and clear. The United States accepted that gift. The Pentagon confirmed that it's okay, it's clear, security. If somebody gave us bicycle to the president, say, ride a bicycle and go to the mansion, some convict, passport size, illiterate, tabata talking political commentator will sit down like with some second class mumu that we don't know what's good for us. No more, never ever will that nonsense ever be applicable to Liberians again. We are building ships in our country. We're getting ready to face motorbike. Some beginners say they won't start making their own car. For me, I'm really thinking about sending rocket to the moon. That's the new Liberia we're in. Nothing is beyond our reach right now. Nothing. We developed. Hear me and hear me well. I won't send rocket to the moon. So, Senator Snowe, save yourself the embarrassment. Hear a man of wisdom. Resign before you are recalled. God bless you all.